we are at the semi-main event. Could argue the co-main event. There's a big difference between the semi and the co-main.
Yo, this is the finals. All right, what the fuck is we talking about?
Of the Western Conference.
No, this is the real. Just like it was in the playoffs. Like at that year,
in 01?
I think they looked at it as not 01. Yeah, that's true. In 01 too. It's funny how it all comes full circle. But I really do think the Spurs or the me personally, but I was also a LeBron hater at the time. I thought the Spurs or the Warriors would probably win the chip. Whoever wins that series, but I had Warriors in 6. Alone. They swept them, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, you were not alone. Yeah. Not with Kevin Durant. Like,
everybody had the Warriors winning, but I'm saying if the Warriors didn't win, I would have still thought the Spurs were the second team. Like, I never thought the Cavs were the second team, personally.
So, during the 16-17 season, there were a lot of pundits and hot take artists and Skip Baylesses and Stephen A. Smiths of the world who were talking and comparing these exact two teams. Why? Because one team is 15-1 and the other was 16-1.
In a recent interview with Complex, Curry was asked in a hypothetical matchup which championship team wins, the 01 Lakers or his 2017 Warriors. Curry replied, "Obviously we feel like we can win. I don't know who would guard Shaq, but I don't know who would guard me and Clay either."
Would you put them ahead of those Lakers?
No. I don't think so. Just for the fact that, Shaq was a force to be reckoned with. There's nobody that will ever play the game like he did. And, of course, Kobe Bryant was simply amazing. And
today, we know what they would do to Steph Curry in today's generation. They would look at Steph Curry. They would look at Kevin Durant back in 2000. And please don't get me wrong, Max. They would be all-star caliber players. But do you know the kind of physical abuse they would have had to absorb?
My team that went 15-1, that's the best team ever created because we should have went 16-0. I say we can win that because who's going to guard me and Kobe, right? They say, obviously, we feel like we can win. I don't know who can guard Shaq, but I don't know who would guard me and Clay either, and 3 is better than 2. Here's my rebuttal. Once they get hot, D-Fish, send them to the hole, I'm going to lay their ass out. Steph, Clay, and KD. I'm going to touch their ass all the way up. And you know who's going to have a lot of points? The center. What's his name?
It says that Draymond was the center on that 2017 team.
Well, Draymond going to have to get 30 points.
After you and Kobe get y'all 30, there's a drop-off.
It's not a drop-off because they're going to have to double me. If they don't double me, I'm going for 60 without the free throws. So,
having said that, I think this is a really interesting matchup because despite the fact that this might be the most talented starting 5 of all time, Zaza Pachulia is their weak spot. And historically, guys of great size, especially as we get into this era that we're in now in 2023, from 16-17 basically to now, the Achilles heel of the Golden State Warriors have been dominant scoring centers. Such as Joel Embiid, guys like that.
Yes. Yep.
Giannis always gives them trouble too. Giannis always gives them trouble. Guys who dominate the paint. And there is no player who dominates the paint in the last 50 years quite like Shaquille O'Neal. And I have Golden State in 6.
But damn, we fucking legitimately, you and I today have been besides the last series.
Yeah,
we just it's
up.
We've had this conversation way too many times. Just
the audience doesn't need to know that, but because we have many a car guide. But I don't think they can stop Shaq, but I do think this is a situation where they can stop everybody else. I think they have a good amount of bodies to throw at Kobe. I think Iguodala in that spot is very interesting, even though he's a little bit older. I don't think Kobe scores less than 25. I think he could get 25 for sure. But when you got 2 guys on the other side pulling threes and lighting you the fuck up, Steph Curry against Derek Fisher is not a matchup. That's just as bad of a matchup as Shaq against Zaza, in my opinion.
Yes.
It's very worrisome.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Bro, I used to get so angry. As a Laker fan, I used to get so angry at Derek Fisher of how much he couldn't guard point guards. And imagine guarding arguably the second greatest point guard of all time. Like that's just is gonna be a pain in the ass. And I think
the most ridiculous shooting point guard ever. He's never seen anything like Curry. That 0-1 Derek Fisher would literally look at Steph Curry like, what are you doing what is this? Yeah. What is a step back 3 from 30 feet? I'm not guarding this guy out there. He's not going to make that shot. Mm-hmm. Cash.
Yeah. Yep.
Cash.
And
10 threes
and
later.
I do think that surprisingly, I agree. I'm leaning more towards 6, Warriors and 6 for sure. It could even be 5 though. Because so this is the big issue, and this is where like a lot of people don't understand math. But when we start, let's just start talking. You got between Durant and Stephen Curry, you got them shooting 16 threes, right?
Yep.
They're making almost 7, right?
Yep.
So just think about the effort that it takes to shoot a 3, and then now you got, let's say Shaq does that same exact thing. He goes in the paint. And he scores 16. He shoots 16 shots, and he makes 60% of his shots.
Yep.
If he did that, Shaq would score 19 points out of those 16 shots, and use significantly more energy. And the 16 shots that Steph and Kevin Durant shot that are way less energy, they scored 21.
Yep.
That automatically is just negating the shit out of Shaq's dominance. This is saying Shaq is dominating because if you take 16 shots and you make 60% of them, that's pure dominance in the NBA, right?
He'll be taking like 25. I think he'll get up to 25 though.
He would have to, but he's gonna be exhausted while doing that. No matter, like, it's not gonna be like there's no resistance. He's still gonna be pounding and getting through and banging it on them. He's gonna do that, but it's gonna take him energy. And for Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson to score all of that back is going to be pretty easy. And then you got, and the issue for me is Kobe, we usually talk about who he's guarding one-on-one, all this other stuff. With this Warrior team, it's not that. It's ball movement. So you can't just guard Klay Thompson and lock him up because then Kevin Durant's going to be open or Steph Curry's going to be open. It makes it super difficult defensively for them. Shaq's going to be a complete liability defensively, unfortunately. Yep. And then offensively, it's sure Shaq's an automatic bucket, but he's wasting way too much energy to get that bucket when Steph, Durant, or Klay is just going to go over and make a 3 the very next possession that they can't stop.
And this is the perfect time to talk about this because there's 2 sides of the coin here. And Shaq's brought up one, and Draymond Green has brought up the other within the last calendar year in 2023.
Yeah.
So, like, Draymond says we're going to pull Shaq out of the paint. We're going to put him in pick and pop situations, right?
Yep.
And Shaq says, if you do that, on the other side, I'm going to fucking eat you. I'm going to pound your shit into the paint. Here's the problem. What Shaq cannot possibly be accounting for is the flagrant foul. And yes, there were flagrant fouls in Shaq's period of time. In 2001, the flagrant foul existed. It started in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
But what is a foul in 2016, 2017, and what was a foul in 2001 are just straight up different things. They just are. There's no getting around it. If Shaq tries to foul some of these guys the way he fouled in 2001, he'll get ejected. There's no... And if that happens, then Warriors in 5. If you're telling me Shaq misses a half of play, it's Warriors in 5.
Yeah.
Like, there's just... It would be... It's just... I can't see Shaq actually putting up a fight from that standpoint with the fouling and with the I'm going to touch him up. Like, no, you're not, motherfucker. Because if you do that, you're going home and you're getting in the shower early. That's the league we're in right now. And if you touch up Steph Curry, imagine him fouling Steph Curry in the paint. Imagine that. Just close your eyes for a second. Imagine this giant human just swatting his shit into the 8th row, possibly elbowing him in the face. Maybe Curry gets a little bit of blood on his head. Shaq's going home.
Yeah.
That's it. That matters.
You had a great day, Shaq. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You might feel good about yourself. You might go, oh man, we might not have won the game, but at least I'm stronger than these fuckers. You're always going to be stronger than these fuckers. There's no getting around that.
Yeah.
I think the idea that Shaq's going to come in and just touch these guys up in their era is just super unlikely.
Yeah.
Super fucking unlikely.
And yeah.
The Hampton Five, right? That death lineup.
Yes.
Offensively, it's too much. It's too much. I do think what Draymond says about pulling Shaq.
It's not just offensively, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm getting there. So I do think what Draymond says about pulling Shaq out will work some of the time, but I don't think it'll work to the effectiveness that Draymond says it will, in my opinion. I just don't think that's how. I don't think that's super realistic to say, mainly because you can do zones. Like, you can do. There's different kinds of things you can do in this era to kind of work with
if
that.
they run a zone, the Warriors will literally kill them.
They might with the great shooting. They might do that. That's the problem with this team in general. It's why they're one of the greatest teams. It's why they're considered the greatest team of all time is this Warriors team. Like, because there's no real. You could throw out a bunch of different options. Yeah. It's just going to be difficult, especially come playoff time when everybody's trying super hard.
Yeah.
Last point I want to make that you brought up. You said between these two guys, between Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, right? They're what's their threes made?
That's 16 threes. 16 threes, and they would have made almost 7.
Oh, so it looks a lot like that, right?
Very similar. Yeah.
Basically, what the Lakers had put up
better shooting.
better
shooting. Yep.
Exactly. So they're doing better than the Lakers' entire team in the playoffs did.
Yep.
Even if we're accounting for fucking a little bit more 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
That is fucking.
Because you still got Clay shooting another
remarkable.
6. We just saw Clay shooting another 6, and that's not changing with Kobe guarding any of them. Because I love Kobe to death, but you can't be where the ball's at all the time. Like, it's not possible. Literally, Greg Popovich says, the ball moves faster than the defender for sure. Yep. So not only that, but I think the thing that I think you kind of like we Draymond, with Draymond saying that, pulling him out, doing pick and rolls, stuff like that. I think the other thing that's doing is causing Shaq to use energy defensively now. Yeah, now you're going to have Shaq using energy defensively, along with having a bang down low and shoot 25 shots to try to keep up with these 3 guys that are going to put up 80, 90 points between the 3.
And the Warriors' playoff pace is 100.
Yeah.
Which is the fastest of this playoffs.
Yeah.
And they're dominating teams with it.
Yeah.
So now you got them going like this.
Yeah.
Fucking Shaq's going to be beat. I agree with that.
I think Kobe and Shaq, in order to make it a 6-game series, they have to average 70 points together throughout that series in order for them to be competitive.
That's a lot.
So my thing is, it's nice when we're talking about the starters, because we're strictly talking about starters now. This Warrior team and the next couple years Warriors team had one of the best benches. You had Sean Livingston easily giving you these fucking mid-rangers that are like Shaq's dunks. Because literally, I don't know if you guys remember, but Sean Livingston literally never missed a fucking fadeaway mid-ranger ever. I used to watch this thing, I'm like, it's in. Every time I would watch them,
58% shooting in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I didn't even have to look at that to know that I was right, because he never missed a fucking mid ranger. Because I watched this nigga all the time, and I'm like, every time he shot a mid ranger on anybody, I was like, that's in, and it would always swish. It's like no doubt about it. So also the bench is significantly better than the Lakers bench. We have this 0-1 team is probably the best out of that 3-year dynasty. We do know that the 2002 Lakers complained a lot. Kobe and Shaq complained a lot about their bench and how they didn't produce. And 100%. This bench is definitely better, but it's still not that much better than that 2002 team. And I think this Warriors bench is arguably one of the greatest benches of all time. I think that
one of them.
I think personally the bench is what made the Warriors even more. I think
the bench from last year's team is better, personally.
Yeah, yep.
But that's what happens when you try to.
When you have Jordan Poole
Kevin Durant
dropping 20 pieces easily. Of course.
No, I'm saying from the 73 win team. I think The bench from the 73 win team
I thought you
is
meant
better.
like the 2022.
Oh,
Warriors,
that team's another crazy deep team.
Yep.
But I it's just a difficult math problem for them to solve here.
Yeah.
Even with assuming the Lakers coming up for a little bit from 3. Because that's where I would disagree with the 70, is assuming that Fisher and Ori maybe get above 10 points a game. Maybe we could drop that to 65.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I see where you're coming from. It's going to take a fucking lot. And this team is just super unfair. That's why people were pissed that it happened in the first place.
Yeah. I think I've said this multiple times. I think that's the greatest team of all time.
Yeah. And they played like it. It's one thing to have the players to become the greatest team of all time, but you got to play like it, and they have great ball movement. So it's like everything.
15 and 1, right? 15 and 1 or 16 and 1?
15 and 1 versus 16 and 1 right here. Warriors were 16 and 1.
Oh, okay. Yep. The Lakers were 15 and 1. The Warriors were 16 and 1.
Yeah.
Right. Yep,
so,
gotcha.
So you have them in how many games officially?
Yeah.
Officially, Warriors in how many games?
Officially, just because I love Kobe and Shaq. Well, more Kobe. I'm going 6. I'm going Warriors in 6. Yeah.
Lynn, what do you got?
I'll give them I say Warriors in 5 or 6. I could see it happening in 5.
Yeah, that's the case that Dario was making. I just think Shaq's dominance still is good for 2 games.
You think so?
Think so.
I'm not mad.
I think he gets 2. Yeah. I really do.
I mean, I have him. I think it's hard to say that the 0-1 Lakers are going to lose the series in 5. So I can completely see that, but I just feel like the eras and that team just in general is just too much.
If the Warriors had one more big body, like I saw JaVale McGee here, I thought about that. But if they had one more, like, other defensive big, I think
they have?
It would be 5.
Where's Bogut's not on this team? It was last.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bogut would probably
not in there.
Because Bogut was actually the
JaVale and Zaza
anchor. Yeah. Bogut was actually the defensive anchor last year.
Yeah.
That would have been helpful.
He was really
definitely helpful. Yeah.
He was really good.
Mm-hmm.
But if they had one more defensive center, I would say Lakers in 5. Or not Lakers, Warriors in 5. But I have Warriors in 6 because I still think Shaq's able to get his 35. Maybe a little less on the rebounding, but probably not by much.
Yeah,
but the other thing is, Steve Kerr obviously knows his way around the triangle pretty well.
Yeah.
Which is another very helpful thing. Remember, he was almost going to go coach the Knicks. Holy shit, thank God he didn't do that. Talk about one of the all-time greatest career moves ever.
He was, Steve Kerr was like, and he chose not to. It wasn't like It
was one or the other. And people really thought he was going to coach the Knicks because of Phil Jackson.
Yeah.
Man, that would have been horrible for his career. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I like that.